New York's rich tradition of breeding and racing goes back a long way. Here at the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame in Saratoga Springs, there are two horses enshrined here that were New York breds, dating back all the way to the 1820s. The first was American Eclipse, foaled on Long Island in 1814. The son of Duroc went undefeated in 8 starts, but it was his final race at age 9 that people have, well, written books about. American Eclipse faced 3-year-old Sir Henry from the South. It was a match race, and in a small way, a foreshadowing of the coming Civil War.
Because it was very famous at the time, because it involved the North versus the South, and they're two pretty awfully good horses, and it went on forever.
Talk about a different era. The two horses raced a total of 12 miles. That's more than 9 Kentucky Derbies in one afternoon. An exhausted American Eclipse prevailed in the final heat. The next notable New York bred came along during the Civil War. As a 3-year-old in 1867, Ruthless beat the boys in the Travers and the first ever Belmont Stakes. Breeder Frances Morris produced 4 sisters by her dam, Barbarity. The quintet was called the Barbarous Battalion.
They were good, remorseless, relentless, merciless, and regardless. And the worst was merciless. She only run one race, but had to be the Alabama. It was a nice race to break your maiden in.
Unfortunately, Ruthless met a tragic ending, shot by a hunter in 1876. Around the same time, carpet maker Stephen Sanford bought a farm in Amsterdam, New York, and went about building the state's first great breeding operation. Thousands flocked to watch races at Sanford's farm, which still stands today. He took his horses to Saratoga, too, and beat the Kentucky breds. The filly Molly Brant upset Travers winner Broomstick, and Sanford-bred Caughnawaga beat the famous Beldame in 1905.
He was the first one to really push New York breds and say how good it is up here. You don't have to have Kentucky bluegrass to race horses. And he proved it.
Even so, for most of the 20th century, people just assumed the best horses came from Kentucky. Historians are still discovering top performers who were actually bred in New York. Questionnaire, a dominant force in the 1930s, came from the Empire State. So did the 1948 juvenile champion Blue Peter, a son of the legendary War Admiral. A breeding program started taking shape in the 60s, but the world beaters were few and far between. The biggest star to come along was 4-Star Dave in the 80s. He won a race at Saratoga a stunning 8 years in a row.
4-Star Dave wins again at the Spa!
But a change in state law gave a huge boost to New York breeding. Thoroughbreds conceived elsewhere but foaled in New York now qualified, and a gelding by distorted humor took the New York bred to a whole new level.
Funny side, and Jose Santos turning the Preakness into a runaway!
It came out of nowhere. I couldn't imagine a New York bred at the time, a New York bred winning of the Kentucky Derby. A lot of the other people couldn't either, but it did. And it turns out it wasn't a fluke.
And neither was Commentator, who joined the legendary Kelso as a multiple winner of the Grade 1 Whitney. Last year, Day at the Spa became the first New York bred to win a Grade 1 Breeders' Cup race. And this year, 3 New York breds qualified for the Kentucky Derby. 2 centuries after American Eclipse, it appears the Empire State is back in the business of making history. I'm Scott Jagow for the Paulick Report.